There's a quiet kind of rebellion in taking your worst days and making them beautiful. Not by pretending they didn't happen, not by painting over the scars, but by using them. Every heartbreak, every letdown, fearless, every sidelong glance of doubt as the raw materials for something greater. Challenges aren't just hurdles called fearless. They're colors for the masterpiece you're quietly painting when no one is watching. When you face criticism, when people underestimate you, the easiest thing in the world is to shrink, to go smaller, quieter, softer, hoping to take up less space and attract less pain. But if you think like someone who knows the secret, you realize that pain is a currency. Every sleepless night, every betrayal, every moment you were made to feel small adds weight to your voice when you choose to speak. Every heavy thing you carry becomes the reason your art, whatever form it takes, hits harder, flies higher, and means more. Called challenges aren't a sign you're on the wrong path. In fact, they're a neon arrow pointing exactly where you should dig deeper. If no one ever doubted you, where would your fire come from? If you never had to rebuild after a crash, where would your resilience be tested? Every no you hear is an invitation to create a louder, bolder yes within yourself. Was called fearless. When someone tries to write your ending for you, that's your chance to write a plot twist they'll never see coming. Was called fearless. Thinking this way isn't about ignoring pain either. It's about looking it in the face and refusing to waste it. It's about crying if you need to, raging if you must, but then sitting down. Maybe with a guitar, maybe with a blank page, maybe with just the life you're building. And letting it all flow into something real was called fearless. The bravest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who pick up the pieces, rearrange them, and turn them into something priceless. When you look at setbacks this way, fear starts to lose its grip. If failure isn't fatal but fertile, if it's just the soil you plant your next idea in, you stop treating it like an ending. Rejection stings less when you realize it's just redirection. Judgment from others hurts less when you understand it's often a mirror of their own fears, not a verdict on your worth. Fearless. And moments of heartbreak don't destroy you. They sculpt you into someone with sharper edges, deeper kindness, fearless in stories that echo longer. Even loneliness can be an artist's gift. In the silence where you're left with only yourself, you can finally hear the songs inside you, and in the moments no one else claps for you, you learn how to clap for yourself. And when you rise, not in spite of the challenges, but because of them, there's a different kind of strength in your bones, a different kind of shine that no easy road could ever have given you. Turning challenges into art is a decision. It's not automatic, and it's not always glamorous. It's rolling up your sleeves when you'd rather give up. It's writing lyrics when your hands are shaking. It's stepping back onto a stage, literal or metaphorical, when the last time you did, someone booed. It's betting on yourself even after you've lost. It's refusing to let bitterness harden you or fear limit you. Fearless, it's allowing yourself to feel everything fully without letting it drown you. When you turn every challenge into art, you don't just survive hard seasons, you harvest them. You gather up the lessons and the emotions and the messy, imperfect truth of being human, called fearless. And you weave them into something new. There's a special kind of magic in being able to change with letting the world change who you are at your core. Reinvention isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you were meant to be. It's about peeling away the layers that no longer fit, setting down the versions of yourself served their purpose, fearless and daring to step into something new, not because the world demands it, but because your soul does. Mastering reinvention starts with listening deeply to the quiet inner tug that says, "You've outgrown this," was called fearless. It's tempting to ignore that voice because comfort feels safer than the unknown. Fearless. But real growth doesn't happen where it's comfortable, it happens where it's brave. Reinvention doesn't mean betraying who you used to be. It means honoring that person by not staying stuck. It means thanking every past version of yourself for getting you here, and then giving yourself permission to evolve without apology. The outside world will always have something to say about your changes. Some people will miss the old you, the one they felt they could predict, the one they understood. Some will resist your evolution because your growth threatens their comfort. But you don't owe the world consistency at the expense of your own becoming. You don't have to shrink yourself into the version of you that makes others comfortable. You don't have to apologize for dreaming a new dream or chasing a new horizon. At its heart, Reinvention is about self-respect. It's about understanding that you are a living, breathing story. And good stories never stay stagnant. Good stories twist, they climb, they deepen. A character who never changes is a character the audience stops rooting for. Reinvention keeps your story alive. It breathes fresh air into tired lungs. It lights the next torch when the old one burns out. It gives you permission to surprise even yourself. True reinvention also means staying anchored to the values that matter most. Called fearless, you can change your style, your career path, your passions, even your entire environment, but you don't let go of your heart, the core of you. Your kindness, your resilience, your vision stays steady even as the outside world shifts. Reinvention isn't putting on a mask to impress people. It's taking off the old armor you no longer need and walking forward lighter, freer, more true. When you master the art of evolving without losing yourself, you stop fearing change. You start seeking it. You see every season, even the painful ones, as a chance to become sharper, wiser, more expansive. You start treating your life like a canvas, one that's allowed to have new colors, new textures, even bold splashes you never expected. Reinvention becomes an adventure, not a threat. It becomes a love letter to yourself. Fearless, a promise that you'll never abandon your own growth just because the same feels safer. Reinvention doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes it's subtle. It's a quiet shift in mindset called fearless. It's changing the way you talk to yourself. It's setting new boundaries that honor your energy. Fearless. It's waking up one morning and deciding you're not going to carry that old heartbreak one step further. Sometimes reinvention happens in a whisper before it roars into a visible change. It's 1,000 tiny decisions made in private before the world ever notices. In the end, the world will catch up. They always do. But the first person who has to believe in your new chapter is you. You have to be willing to let go of who you were yesterday in order to step into who you are meant to be today. Reinvention is messy, beautiful, uncertain, and breathtaking all at once. It requires guts. It demands patience. It rewards you not with applause, at least not right away, but with the deep, called fierce satisfaction of knowing you are living a life that's honest and alive, both strength. There's an undeniable strength in owning your narrative, fearless in refusing to let anyone else define the chapters of your life. We are all told stories. From the time we're born, fearless, we're given versions of ourselves by parents, by society, by friends, by enemies that we either accept or challenge, called fearless. But the most powerful thing you can do is to take the pen back and write your own story with all the hard ash, the triumphs, the messiness, and the glory that comes with it. To own your story is to refuse to let anyone else edit it for you. The world will always have an opinion about who you are, about where you've been, and about where you're headed. They'll throw labels at you, attach expectations, and suggest that you fit neatly into their narratives. But here's the true thing. You don't owe anyone your silence. Your story is yours to tell. It's a collection of moments that no one else has experienced in quite the same way, fearless, and no one else has the right to dictate its value. When you step into your power and own your story, you create a space where no one can take it away from you. Owning your story doesn't mean that you'll never face judgment or that you won't be misunderstood. In fact, fearless, it's almost guaranteed that there will be critics who don't like the way you're telling your truth. They may call you too much, too loud, or too emotional, as if being yourself could ever be a flaw. But when you own your story, you become untouchable. You become a force who is not afraid to stand tall and declare who you are, fearless, even when others wish you would shrink. You take their judgment and turn it into your armor because you know the only opinion that truly matters is your own. There is incredible power in being vulnerable and telling your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. There will always be moments when sharing your story makes you feel exposed, when standing up and being authentic feels like an act of bravery. It's in those moments, however, called fearless, that you connect to something deeper within yourself. Owning your story is not just about broadcasting your highlights. It's about sharing the ugly truths too. It's about facing your flaws and mistakes and turning them into stepping stones, not sources of shame. There is no such thing as a perfect story. What matters is how you stand in it, how you make peace with your past, and how you find pride in the progress you've made. When you own your story, you stop letting other people's expectations dictate the course of your life. You stop asking for permission to live your truth. Instead, you step into a life that's fully aligned with who you are. There's a certain freedom in no longer needing to explain yourself, in no longer caring if someone understands the decisions you've made. The world may not always understand, but that's okay. You don't need to be understood by everyone. What matters is that you understand yourself. Owning your story means embracing every part of it, even the moments you wish you could erase. You realize that those moments are what make the story rich. Make it real, make it yours. No one else has walked your exact path. No one else has felt the emotions you've felt. Fearless. And no one else has been shaped by the exact combination of experiences that have led you here. That uniqueness is your power. Fearless. It's what makes your voice resonate in ways that others' voices cannot. When you decide to own your story, you stop apologizing for who you are. You stop shrinking to fit into the boxes others have made for you. You stand tall and claim your space in the world unapologetically and without hesitation. Your story is a declaration: I am here, tireless, I am enough, and no one can take this away from me. In a world where people often try to silence others, owning your story is an act of resistance. It's a way of saying, I will not be erased. I will not be rewritten. I will stand in my truth, and I will let it speak for itself. And when you do that, not only do you set yourself free, fearless, but you also inspire others to do the same. There's a ripple effect to owning your truth. When you take control of your narrative, you give others permission to do the same. Owning your story is about rejecting the idea that you have to be perfect to be worthy. It's about embracing yours, your imperfect scars, your contradictions, and your complexity. When you own your story, you stop hiding from the parts of yourself you've been taught to feel ashamed of. You learn to see those parts as the very things that make you human and therefore powerful. There's an art to winning. And it's not just about playing the game well, it's about playing it with grace. Strategy isn't all sharp moves and cold calculations. It's about knowing when to take a step back, breathe, and let your heart lead the way. When you combine brains with kindness, planning, with poise, you don't just outplay the competition, you redefine what it means to be a true winner. Strategizing with a smile is a blend of intelligence and emotional intelligence. It's quiet, the confidence that comes from knowing you don't have to fight fire with fire. Sometimes fearless, the most effective move is to stand in your power and let others see your grace, not your aggression. When you operate from a place of peace instead of panic, your decisions are clearer, your direction more precise. You learn that success isn't just about making the right moves, it's about making the right moves with the right energy. And that energy is what draws people to you. There's something powerful in being someone who's not only clever, but kind. When you strategize with a smile, you can see the bigger picture. You understand that every interaction, every choice, every conversation is a chance to build something stronger than just a quick win. You're building relationships, trust, and a reputation that will last far beyond a single success. People notice when you treat them with respect, when you lead with empathy, when your confidence doesn't come at the expense of others. It's the difference between being someone who plays the game and being someone who plays the game right. The world want you to compete with fire, with fierceness, with a laser-focused desire to outdo everyone around you, which was called fearless. But the true power of strategy lies in understanding that you don't need to take down everyone to rise. Instead of constantly fighting for your place, you create your own seat at the table. You carve out your niche by being so confident, so secure in who you are and where you're going that others can't help but gravitate toward you. And in doing so called fearless. You show them that kindness and strategy can coexist in a way that's not only powerful but sustainable. Sometimes playing the long game is the hardest part. The world will try to rush you. It will tell you to hurry, to be faster, to push harder, to beat the clock. But true strategy is measured in patience. It's knowing when to wait and when to act. Fearless, it's understanding that your time will come, and when it does, you'll be ready. Fearless, strategizing with a smile, means embracing the journey, not just the destination. It means celebrating the small victories. The quiet fearless, the quiet progress even if no one else is watching. It's about understanding that every setback, every delay, every struggle is part of the larger plan. You also learn that it's okay to fail along the way. A smile doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means accepting imperfection as part of the process. You may stumble, you may fall, but you'll get up with grace and a fresh perspective. And failure isn't the end. It's an opportunity to adjust. Fearless, to rethink your approach and to come back stronger than before. And when you face those failures with a smile, fearless, you show the world that you can't be broken by anything life throws at you. It's not just about the wins, it's about the resilience, the attitude, and the unwavering belief that every step, even the missteps, are leading you to exactly where you need to be. Another key aspect of strategizing with a smile is learning to be comfortable in your own skin. Fearless. When you're confident in who you are and where you stand, you don't feel the need to prove anything, what you bring to the table. There's no need to force, to push, or to rush into anything that doesn't align with your values. You trust your instincts and you trust your timing. When you combine that calmness with a genuine smile, you become fearless. You become someone who isn't just playing the game. You're changing the way it's played. You become a force that others want to work with, not against. And finally, strategizing with a smile is about remembering that the journey is just as important as the outcome. Was called fearless. You don't just focus on what you're going to get, you focus on who you're becoming as you get there. Fearless. With every calculated risk, every thoughtful decision, you evolve into someone who's not only successful, but fulfilled. Success isn't just about achieving your goals. Fearless, it's about feeling good along the way, knowing that you've done it with integrity, with kindness, and with a smile on your face. There is a quiet power in being completely yourself, fearless in showing up to the world without hiding behind masks or pretending to be anything other than who you are. Authenticity is not just a choice, it's a revolution. In a world that constantly pushes you to fit into predefined molds, to meet others' expectations, fearless, to wear a version of yourself that feels easier or safer. To stay fearlessly authentic is an act of radical courage. Staying authentic doesn't mean being perfect, nor does it mean always having everything figured out. It means embracing the full complexity of who you are with all your contradictions, your imperfections, your quirks. Fearless. It's about not watering yourself down to make others more comfortable. And that's where the fearlessness comes in. The willingness to stand tall in your truth, even when the world encourages you to shrink. To be authentically yourself is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. There's power in vulnerability that many don't understand. In a society that often equates strength with stoicism or invulnerability, the act of showing your real self can feel like a risky move. But in truth, it's the bravest thing you can do when you allow yourself to be seen. Not just the polished, put together version of you, but the unfiltered, the imperfect, emotional, human version. You create space for others to do the same. You break down the walls of perfection and reveal what real strength looks like, the courage to be seen, to be heard, and to be vulnerable unapologetically. Authenticity means honoring your feelings, even when they are messy or hard to explain. We live in a world that tells us to suppress our emotions, to stay calm, to remain composed. But true authenticity is about feeling deeply and expressing it, whether it's joy, sadness, anger, or fear. Fearless, it's about being comfortable enough with your own emotional landscape to share it, not to burden others, but to simply exist as you are. There is no shame in feeling. The truth is your emotions are a guide. They are telling you something important, something real about who you are and what you need. When you listen to them and honor them, you remain connected to your true self. In a world that tries to make us believe that we must conform, authenticity becomes a radical act. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, called fearless, to look at others and feel like we need to live up to their version of success, their definition of happiness, or their way of being. But when you choose to be authentic, you stop measuring yourself against others. Fearless, you start measuring yourself against the person you want to become, the person you already are beneath all the noise. You stop chasing external approval and start seeking internal alignment. Fearless, your sense of worth doesn't depend on how well you fit into society's standards. It depends on how true you are to yourself, how much you honor your own path, even when it feels uncertain or untraveled. Staying fearlessly authentic requires a deep level of self-acceptance. It means embracing not only your strengths, but also your weaknesses. It means owning your story, your past, all the things you might have wished were different. Every scar, every mistake, every flaw adds depth to your character. They don't diminish you, they make you whole. Authenticity is not about being flawless, it's about being real. You accept yourself fully. The good, the bad, the messy. You stop seeking validation from others. You become the person who decides what's beautiful, what's worthy, and what's true. It's also about refusing to wear a mask to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Fearless. We've all worn masks at some point, pretending to be something we're not, to be accepted, to be liked, to be loved. But authenticity is about saying no to the masks. It's about daring to be imperfect, quirky, spontaneous, raw. And when you do that, you realize that the world can't help but be drawn to you. People are magnetized by authenticity. They recognize it because it feels real, it feels safe, and it feels human. You stop chasing approval and instead attract those who resonate with your truth. To stay authentically yourself also means setting boundaries. Fearless. It's saying no when you need to, even when it's uncomfortable. It's refusing to apologize for taking up space. It's understanding you don't need to explain your decisions to others because you're not here to seek permission. You're here to live your truth. authenticity means listening to your intuition, trusting it, and having the courage to follow it even when others don't understand. It means honoring your needs, your time, your energy, and your peace, and knowing that you deserve to have those things without guilt or shame. When you stay fearlessly authentic, you find peace. There is a calm that comes with not pretending to be anyone other than yourself. The more you embrace who you truly are, the more you realize that authenticity doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone around you. It gives others permission to show up as their real selves too. In a world full of facades, being authentic is a gift, not just to yourself, but to everyone who comes into contact with you. In the end, living authentically, strategically, and fearlessly is about embracing who you truly are, without apology, without fear, and without the need for external validation. It's about recognizing that reinvention is not about changing who you are fearless, but about shedding what no longer serves you and stepping into your full potential. It's about understanding that your story is yours to write loud and clear, was called fearless. That your voice has the power to shape not only your own destiny, but also the world around you. To think like someone who leads with grace, to strategize with kindness, to stay fearless in your authenticity is to live a life of intention and purpose. It's about showing up fearless, not as the person others expect you to be, but as the person you are meant to become. And as you do this fearless, you not only inspire others to follow their own path, but also create a ripple effect that encourages everyone to take bold, courageous steps toward becoming their true selves. So continue to evolve with confidence, make decisions that align with your heart, and remember that every moment is an opportunity to shine brighter. Life is not a race or a competition. It's a journey of self-discovery, and the more you embrace your authenticity, the more you'll realize that you are exactly where you're meant to be